Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Wow, so far 1,200 hits, mashallah, likes on Facebook for the last Miseducation of the Muslim. So we decided to do Miseducation of the Muslim Part 2. So there's some notes that we wrote down here, and definitely let's get into it. Let's get into it. So I'm going to have to need some spectacles here because, as you know, I'm getting older. So some of the stuff you may not like, some of the stuff needs to be said. Okay, so those in charge will misguide or misappropriate their leadership. So for me as a new Muslim embracing Islam, I was told by people older than me, no sense in you learning the Arabic language, brother. You'll never be a scholar. You'll never be able to read the books of the scholars. You'll never be able to understand the deeper meanings of Islam. Just learn the transliteration, you know, AL-HAM-DU-LILLAH, alhamdulillah. Just do that and get a couple of small Jews underneath you, and that's all you need to be a regular Muslim. I was told this 30 years ago. I didn't listen to that leadership at that time. I didn't listen to those imams from that particular country. So people will misguide or they'll misappropriate the information that they want to give the followers. Be very careful of that. Number two, this is a really important point. In school, you memorize certain facts to pass the examination for a possible job. But in the real world, you have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So for me, alhamdulillah, there's been different communities that I've went and I benefited from them. And they might have took or taught a certain curriculum and I benefited from that. And maybe the scholars that were teaching that community only followed a particular method. Maybe they were Shafi, maybe they were Maliki, maybe they were Hanbali, maybe they were follow the Hanafi or Hanbali or Maliki or Shafi. But I was told, Nadru ma'adilil haythu yadar, follow the dalil wherever it takes you. So I take from all of them because this religion is not following an alim, it's talking about ulama. Follow the ulama, learn from the ulama, more than one, plural. So alhamdulillah, I've been able to study many, many different texts and I've learned immense amount of information from being a person who is able to diversify my information. So one of the problems that many of the people in leadership, they have a problem with supplying the spiritual needs of the masses. Some of us, we're still studying the importance of making wudu. Now that is important. Some of us are still studying the fiqh of tahara, which is important. I'm not saying it's not. But there are some other pressing issues that 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. How long are we still going to be talking about Iman and Yaqeen without really with the Dalil? We need more than that. Many of the institutions, they're having lots of problems, if they even have any institutions. Most of the foreign methods, they're not working. They're not working. Proof in the pudding. Go to any jail, anywhere located near you, and find out how many Muslims. How much is the population of Muslims? They all came from the madrasa system. Most of those kids, they memorize more Quran than us. Something's wrong with the teaching. The traditional curricula or curriculum, it's not working. It needs to be, I think many of it needs to be pulled down or it needs to be, given to some other people and they could tweak it. The social status is messed up. Have we missed the mark? So we have to examine the past. We have to examine the present, and we need to plan for the future. We're talking about ajil. We're talking about generations to come. So we want to know, we want to have leaders who educate and they shape the minds or they reshape the minds or they wipe the minds from the nonsense. What good is it having an imam who just came here 10 years ago? What is he going to do for me and my people? He made a came from his country here, landed, mashallah, half of the Quran, maybe he speaks Arabic. Alhamdulillah, he figured out the game. He opened up a masjid. Okay, he wants his people from his community to come and they build a masjid so it's good for them. But the reality is he can't lead those children to be dynamic in society. He's not equipped. He wasn't born and raised here. What can he teach me who came from the street, who was a convert? So there's no programs like that. We had to import some brothers from England to come and teach us how to give dawah in the streets of Toronto. No, we had that already up and running. May Allah bless all those brothers. Real education, it means to inspire the people to live more abundantly. Many people are saying that they're tired of being a waste man. Now, one of the people that I work close to, alhamdulillah, they moved their children almost an hour and a half out of the ghetto, and they are raving about living in the suburbs. But it takes a certain mindset. You have to work hard and try to get out from where you are. You have to not settle for what you have. You have to try to strive to do better. A diploma will provide, diplomas, the papers, they can't really make you papers. Yeah. The diploma is just a procedure of paper. The diploma is just a procedure of paper, but will it really make you the papers? I know people with BAs. I know people with master's degrees. I know people with PhDs, highly intelligent. They can't find a job. So this is one of the things. And many of those people, they're Hafiz of Quran. They speak the Arabic language. They can read the Quran better than some of the local imams, but they were taught back in their country that to be an imam means you're going to have low pay and you won't be able to make it in life. So they went to become different types of doctors, which is okay. So we want to move on here now, talking about the youth are filling the jails. What's the game plan of the leadership? Brother Imam, what's your plan? Do you really care? No, until your kid or your nephew or your cousin, until he gets locked up, then you're interested in knowing how to solve the problem. But until it comes and it knocks on your door, you don't care. This is the vast multitude of leadership. We want to look at leadership. Many have drifted away from righteousness themselves into an effort, and they make the wrong seem right. So I'm the imam. It's okay for me to sin and to do this. I'm the imam. I am a scholar. I can do this. I can do that. I am the scholar. So who are you to question me? What do you mean ittaqillah? What do you mean ittaqillah? Don't tell me ittaqillah. You ittaqillah. I've been told this by some leadership. I've been told to fear Allah by telling others to fear Allah after you found them doing some things that they shouldn't be doing. Ignorant theorists, thoughtlessness, cooperating for the common good. So there are some people, they think they're smart and they're intelligent. But the reality is they're not that smart and intelligent. When you think you're smart and intelligent, right there you've lost. You should be a person who's, I'm willing to learn. What else can you teach me? Show me more. Share more. Tell me more. I have an open mind. I want to learn. There's people I've tried to explain to them stuff that, basic people have written books on it, and they're doing good. Well, I have a PhD. Well, I'm a master's degree. So, well, I'm the sheikh. I know this. Actually, you don't know everything. We do not need what is known in the hood as a lyrical, spiritual miracle. We need more than that. So, when we look at it, and we're going to end it with this. We're tired of clowns and comedians, man. We need real leaders, and they need certain skills. We need them to keep the flock in place. Many of them are just letting the flock run around. That's why the jails are filled up. So one of the things that we need to understand, that if they continue to control the people's thinking, then they're going to control the community. They're going to control our education. They're going to control our life plan. Sometimes I believe you need to break the mold and maybe find some new leaders or study with somebody else. Don't be a person who only takes from one leader. Learn from multiple people. This is how you grow. Because everybody, unfortunately, they have their program and they have their propaganda and they have their agenda. The question you should be asking the leadership, what is our community's vision and what's our mission statement? If that is not being clearly defined, and every couple of years it needs to be updated, we need to ask them, what are we doing? What are we trying to do? The youth are going astray. There's lots of youth issues. What have these so-called bright minds, what are they producing? Have they written any articles? Have they given any podcasts? Have they had any open dialogue? Have they had a question and period night? Had they asked the community for any feedback? Most of the places, everything is just a status quo. As long as the leaders are getting paid that little salary, keep it quiet and don't say much, because everything is good. Alhamdulillah, kullu shay ala ma yaram. I'm not buying it. You don't buy it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.